Hello there, it's Emily Bob. Yes, I'm all by myself today, and that don't make me so sad. I can relate to Ashley, like when Bentley left, because I'm without my bud, Virgie, today. But I gotta tell you, remember how last week she had that kidney stone? Well, she must have tried that butter technique I was telling her about, because that stone done popped out, and she went out to celebrate at some nice fancy Japanese restaurant. So, I'm all by myself today. Sorry this update is so late, but we're just going to talk about what happened, you and me, okay? So the first thing that happened was that Ashley went on a one-on-one with LeBan, because he wanted to dance with her. And they were doing a flash mob. Now, this was really surprising for me, because a flash mob was not what I thought it was. I thought in a flash mob, they would show each other their pots, and I didn't think that was a very good idea for a first date. I mean, save the flashing for the fantasy suite, Ashley. But I was wrong. A flash mob is when a bunch of people get together in a mall or a big open area and they do something together. And surprise, everybody that's supposed to be there. So, they did some dancing, and they had some dinner, and the band, poured his heart out and said that he was an idealist. What a quixotic guy. I don't think he's right for a dentist. But we'll see. Obviously, she liked him, and she kept him on. So, moving along, the next date that Ashley went on was a group date with the majority of the guys. They said that they were going to a roast. And do you know what? This date was another surprise for me. I was thinking, I don't think Ames is going to be very good at cooking those ribs. But do you know what a roast is? It's when you make fun of somebody. So, they were all making fun of Ashley. How self-deprecating is that? I mean, if you have low self-esteem to begin with, why are you going to ask people that you hope to have a relationship with to pick on you? But they didn't really pick on her. They talked about her small titties, but that's not really picking on her. That's just the truth. But William said that he wished, instead of Ashley, it was Emily or Chanterelle, the mushroom. That was kind of a roasty part, but I don't know. Anyway, Ashley broke down and cried and cried and cried. So Bentley saw her and went over there and tried to, I don't know what he was doing. He wasn't trying to cheer her up because he doesn't like her, but he was trying to ingratiate himself with her. Anyway, William was so upset. William started to cry, and he left. But I forgot to tell y'all. Do you know what happened before the roast? Well, Jeff took off his mask. It was pretty much what I expected, but Ashley thought he looked old. I think that's part of the reason he ended up not getting a rose, was because he looked so old. But maybe part of it was because he told her about his three-legged dog. I mean, it's great if you want to get a dog, but why do you have to point out its imperfections? Ashley wasn't much better, kicking him off as soon as he took off his mask, because obviously that's mean. Like, oh, I see you, I don't like you, out of freaking oath. But we know she's all caught up with Bentley. So meanwhile, at this time, Bentley decides that he wants to go home. He's done with that. Ashley confronts him. I think maybe that was the reason. He knew his jig was up, and he's a little chicken. They should have roasted Bentley. Did some kind of weird thing. Her crying was turning him on. So he was like licking her neck and he demonstrated it. It was pretty nasty, but anyway, he is at home. Then it was time for the one-on-one with JP. Poor JP. Ashley was not in a good mood, so they just got on their pajamas and ate on the floor. I'm afraid JP is going to be going home soon. I mean, even though it's kind of sweet, it's just kind of weird. I mean, who really packs up their pajamas and brings them to somebody else's house on a first date? That is presumptuous. That is the kind of thing that is in a sitcom. And I just don't think this is going to be an episode of How I Met Your Mother. So, that was for all the dates. They had a rose ceremony, no cocktail party, because Ashley was still a bit weepy. At the rose ceremony, Jeff, like I said, went home, and so did Christy. That was kind of out of left field, but by boom, moving along to next week, where apparently, Ryan P is not all that they think he is. So please tune in with us next week. Hit that there subscribe button, and hopefully Virgie will be back. I'm sure she will. Maybe you should send her some get well wishes in the little comment box below. Alright, well, thank y'all.